here. Okay. All right, great. So, well, I sent you yesterday. We had that meeting. It was aimed at explaining to you guys the two types of growth that you can have and the two business models. I sent you I wrote the blog post. I put the meeting there so that you can access it, and I summarized the bullet points and the main ideas because there are a lot of things were mentioned, but eventually the whole point is you can choose. You have two options: go freelance or be part of Oxinity, or go Oxinity. Yeah. So go freelance is, in my opinion, is lonely. It's hard, and you will hit a ceiling, which is determined by your availability and the student capacity or willingness to pay one certain quantity. That's it. Yeah. The other model is the one that we're doing together. So together with these meetings, in any meeting that we have are actually building Oxinity. Yeah. So yesterday was more about growth, exchanging ideas about growth, and today is going to be about quality. Yeah, which is eventually, to me, it's the two sides of the same coin. So we cannot have growth if we don't work on quality, and vice versa. Yeah. So we have to, it's like body and mind, they go together. We have to work both of them. So here we have to take care of how we teach, what we teach, and that is going to give us to grant our growth. Yeah. Maria, can you just help me here? I need to, I have to just be silenced 1 minute, just a minute.
Yeah. So what have you been sharing? Daniel, you
Also,
were the one sharing.
Any sort of articles that take my interest.
Yeah, on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Yeah, on Facebook and LinkedIn. Quite a few articles about food.
And why food?
Yeah, Georgina put quite a few posts on about food.
Yeah, I saw. And what about WhatsApp? Because I think that is very good as well, because it's very easy to share there. If your friends are interested, they will forward.
Yeah.
Are you using that tool or not?
What me?
WhatsApp? No, in general.
Yeah, I'm using WhatsApp quite a bit because I find it's really easy and it's more personalized rather than a group. I've done both ways. I've done a group chat, group of friends, but also individual makes it a bit more personalized.
Yeah. And Sonia has been sharing as well this week, no? She brought 2 companies. Sonia, can you tell us how you approach companies as well? Radmila is back.
Well, yes, I have been. So these companies I have approached on LinkedIn. So I have sent, actually the companies that I gave you the name, they have some friends working there, not in the human resources, but in other areas. So, and I try to get the contact. But at the same time, I've been sending some messages like Radmila have been saying to us, like to have them in my network. And so the human resources from different companies, and I've been sharing with them what is Oxinity. And actually, I've been sharing a lot everywhere. So I've been working with all the social media at the moment.
Yeah.
So
that is very good. You will get results.
I hope. Well, it's coming. Sure. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry guys for this break, but actually now that you're talking about that, I just saw Path is not with us, but we've got a lead, a lady that from sharing Blanca's post. Is Blanca here? No, she's not. In any case, this is working. So Path shared something yesterday on Facebook. Today we have a lead. The lady is trying. So cause and effect, it's kind of a direct consequence. So, well, I was saying that, of course, encourage you to share. Sharing is the easiest, the fastest way, without selling, without being having the pressure of sales. Sales is difficult. This is for us, but sharing is for you. Communicating. So now that we were talking about what to share, this is actually something that we started talking about last week. So there is one thing that, remember, we started talking about 10% versus 90%. 10% is what, well, if out of the 100% of what people need, yeah, imagine 100% is what I need to give a certain amount of time, certain amount of hours that I need to devote to learning a language. Not all of these hours, we were saying, are have to be with a teacher. It would be, first of all, extremely expensive and absolutely unviable for learners. It's not the way it's meant to be. Yeah, we have to be there, and we have to more or less in 10% of the time that are going to that students are going to spend learning, we have to be the best guide for them. Yeah. So we've been building Oxinity, and our method and what's going on in the classes focused on this 10%. So we've talked about the class dynamics and how to start and how to accelerate. And people that attend this meeting understand it very well, and I know it by the results, by the feedback of their students. Pretty much all of you guys that have been attending these meetings, nothing to worry about. Little things to tweak here and there, always. We talk about them, we help you. We're going to help Jazz today as well. Next, because she has to, maybe she's in the most difficult context, which means that she has to teach English to people that are absolute beginners in a language, and their first language has nothing to do with English, with Spanish, with any European language. Yeah, nothing to do. But we've been focusing on this 10%, and the results are great. Now, we have a remainder there, this 90%, which is usually what we started talking about last week. And there were a lot of ideas, and they were very good, but kind of unfocused. So I would like that all these great ideas, I would like to shape them better with you, and to shape them within what all of us would be willing to recommend. So this is the thing, that it's not what other people do. What other people do can be fine or not so much, but what we would like to do, it's about us this time. It's not about others. So what the British Council does is good for the British Council. What other providers do might be good for them. I don't know. I want you to feel comfortable when you do things, when you share, to be absolutely convinced that people will love it. It's not easy. There's a lot of questions here that we have to answer. Yeah. So I will start, and I'm very happy that Akbar is with us, because we're going to involve him very shortly. Yeah. Akbar is an artist. He's a poet, and I'm going to, well, he's a broad artist, but I'm going to refer to his poetry in a minute. Yeah. So the 90% of what the students have to do on their own is usually neglected. So when we say, when we advise people to watch series, to increase their input in English, this is true. Yeah, all this is true. But we kind of leave it to them to decide. And it's very easy not to decide, or to decide to do nothing just because it's easier. So I think that we should go a step further, and we can have an impact on this 90% as well if we think about it, if we don't leave it to something vague. So Paddy, I don't know if Paddy is with us. He's not. Was asking me yesterday whether he could send after the class a blog post to students. And of course the answer is yes, but we've been extremely productive lately, or you guys have been extremely productive lately. And there are fantastic blog posts, but they are of two types, clearly, to me at least. One type of blog post is the one that speaks to Google and to students, but to students that we don't know, to potentials, let's call them potentials. Yeah, that blog post speaks to potentials. The other blog post speaks to learners, to our learners, the ones that are loyal to us. Yeah, the people that are learning English right now, or Spanish, and want to improve. Two types of things. When you're teaching, you have the second type, the learner, and that person needs desperately help from you. They don't need to be entertained, they need help. So, entertainment has to be, of course, we have to enjoy what we're doing, but not as a mere entertainment. So, the purpose of the class is them to learn something, hopefully, to challenge them to produce and to accelerate. Do you know, is anyone here a musician, or do you play any musical instrument? No, my favorite
A little bit.
associations.
I
Yeah.
do.
Who is that? Olga.
I do. Olga, it's Olga here. Yeah.
What do you
I
play?
mean, I used to play the piano. Being from a Commonwealth country, I took all of these Royal Academy exams once upon a time. So
Look at you. Wow.
but piano is not something you can carry with you, unfortunately. And I keep living abroad, so I've been out of practice for a very, very long time.
For how long have you been practicing learning piano?
I started at the age of 7 until 17. I took like regular classes for 10 years.
Okay. And so how many classes a week with a teacher?
Once a week.
Once a week. How many hours of study on your own, practicing, playing?
Well, I'm a great procrastinator, so normally with something like piano, especially if you're preparing for an exam, you can practice up to 8 hours per day.
What?
That's what you should be doing.
I was expecting much less.
If you want to be a pro. But yeah, I mean, as a student, you can't do more than 3-4 hours per day.
Mm-hmm. Well, fair enough. I like it. So these hours of your time, they weren't, you were on your own. With your teacher, I guess again it was you playing and he or she, giving you advice, right?
Exactly, meeting once a week and going through what I was assigned to work on during the week. Just an hour session, basically.
Okay, and then you had to work on your assignments.
Yes, it's practice, practice, practice.
But it was set by the teacher. You didn't just come up with it.
Yeah, assigned and monitored by the teacher.
There you are. So this is a clear example. In what moment, I don't know, in what moment we kind of forgot in languages, in language learning, that we have to have the same impact, on students. First of all, as teachers, we have to be in the first place listeners, and people that correct and guide towards learning, So sometimes I do think that we have to remember that it's about the others, it's about the students to play, to perform at their best standards, and then they are the ones that will continue on their own in a way that we help them, that we tell them. They will follow our instructions, of course, if we know what to tell them, and they will continue at home. This is what will happen. So let's guys, now together we have the tools. The tools are, this is a fantastic opportunity, a blog, that every one of you can contribute to. Let's systematize this 90% through the blog. It means, what are we encouraging people to do? So we're thinking not now to the blogs that talk to Google and to potentials, but the blogs that talk to learners. So my first question for you is, do you know what your learners want or need to do at home? Do you know it? Have you ever asked them? Akbar, are you there? Oh, no, he's not.
You mean what they do at home or what they need to do to improve their English
Yeah,
at
well,
home?
both actually.
I've been listening, and on this thing, I always, in the emails at the end of the class, I make sure that I cover this part. Like, either I set them a small assignment that we agree on at the end of the lesson. I also know now that a lot of my younger students have the exam period. So sometimes I get a father or parents texting me to push their child to explain to me what they have to revise for their exam the next day. So it's a bit of heads up and everything. Especially the exam period helps me push the student to tell me, is there anything they want to focus on, their weaknesses. And like I mentioned, sometimes the parents, they tell me this. Again, in terms of homework, I always try and leave assigned watching Netflix, something that we can both agree on, that is also related to the topic that they're studying, maybe in science, or it depends. Like it's always the flow of the lesson for me, that when I ask those opening questions, how was your day? What are you studying? What was interesting about today? Whatever the student tells me, I will have a recommendation or something at the top of my head that I will propose to the students. If they find it interesting, they will open another tab and look up some extra information. And then based on his reaction of my recommendations, we build off that for future lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we find a common show that we all like. Sometimes there's a common website that we visit, a blog post that we read. And these things, again, is based on the catered to the student's interest.
So thank you for that. But so what you're telling me that, of course, you feel the need to give them further instructions. Of course, you know resources out there. You recommend them and you try to know to understand what they want and to provide it to them. Now, at the beginning, I said that your growth and your quality are two sides of the same coin. Yeah. Now, how exactly that will help your growth when you are referring students to Netflix? How exactly will that impact in your growth?
So, for my French classes, at least, I think that that show Lupin has helped in terms of growth. I would say I'm not sure about the growth of clients, but in terms of having content to always keep the French lessons interesting, because it's difficult sometimes, and yeah, I think all this content helps to have a very smooth lesson, and this itself promotes growth. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Exactly, but you're realizing that your answer, while answering me, you just realize that there is no direct link, and it could be, there could be. I also love Netflix. Yeah, I also love it. If I want Netflix to be present and to impact and to help in my growth, what will I do? Can I not incorporate it in what I recommend students somehow? I just wonder. So that
maybe a blog post, top Netflix recommendations for French students, for example.
There, for instance. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it is. Next time, first of all, you achieve two things. The first one is you are selecting something, so you are doing your homework. That then will help the student. You're systematizing it. You're thinking of their level. You're thinking of the benefit. You're giving instructions. Choose this. Why? Because of this and that. Yeah. But you're doing it as Akbar at Oxinity.
Yeah.
Not Akbar at Netflix, Akbar at Oxinity. That is a win-win. That is your recommendation for Netflix and your growth at Oxinity as an English teacher, French teacher.
Yeah, I understand. I follow. Yeah, I'm always repeating myself in the emails at the end, which is something I could try and focus on to apply this. Yeah.
When you wrote your poem about homework, did you write it as a student or as a teacher?
As the teacher.
As the teacher.
Yeah.
Your poem about homework, the one that I read yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What? Oh, I wrote it as the student. Yeah. I was a
Exactly.
student.
So do you want to tell the guys how you felt? Just remind us.
So yeah, what I felt was as a student, I did a lot of my coursework, very important reports for my modules, the last minute. So that is what's going through in my head when I'm writing this poem. That I know I can do better, but the fact that I left it for last minute means I'm going to rush something that I could probably do much better. And my only objective is to give it in on time and to get the accepting grade. So that's the whole point of that poem. But what was your point, Radmila?
But that's it, exactly. So yeah, that's a brilliant poem. It is really good. You should share it, by the way, because it has that rhythm that, well, he gives to his poetry, and it's amazing. The poem is amazing. But the point is, I'm doing something to please the teacher. I'm doing it last minute because I don't care. And that's the feeling of the students. You see, guys, so that's the feeling of the students, and we are intending to foster that. I say no. I say no. I say engage them. So if Netflix is the alternative of any assignment that we can do, let's get Netflix into our blogs and systematize that. Georgina did it with some YouTube videos. What was it about, Georgina? Can you tell us why did you write that blog post that way?
But it was a little bit different. It was to learn about phrasal verbs, right?
Fair enough.
That one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And because now I'm starting, well, now not me, but following your suggestions. But I think I did that one before. I don't know. But trying to write blog posts about activities and exercises and things that people might want and enjoy and have fun while they are learning at the same time. So I did learn phrasal verbs with videos. And so I found looking on in Google, okay? It's not that I did this on my own, but I went through Google and found a few and selected the ones I found were actually accurate and correct. And then I hit it with a few matching exercises and a few gap fill, there you go. And that's it. That's the purpose of why I did it. And because I like the songs.
Let me find that.
I think they could memorize, I don't know.
I will find this and I will share with you guys. What was it, Georgina?
I don't know. I don't know it by heart. I mean, if you go to my blog, obviously it's easier to access because there's less.
Yeah. All right. Well, I found another one. I'm going to share my screen now with you guys. So this is great as well because this is what Inglés para niños de 2 a 3 años. Well, okay. So for the little ones. But again, what she has done is, this is Georgina out of Xfinity. So she is writing, and yeah, it was probably from the internet. Where else? From Google. Where else?
So, yeah. But sorry, Ramira, what I mean is that this one was from whatever my experience, but what I mean was the phrasal verbs, like how I found the phrasal verbs on the songs. I didn't find it myself. I looked that up. That's what I meant to say.
Fine.
You know what I mean?
And yet your students will learn it because you've done you've done your homework and you're putting it for them. So these are the things for learners that we can send to them. And what I say now and what I say here is, and now let's systematize that. Yeah, let's create a system around it. Why? Because when we have systems, then we don't have to improvise solutions every time we are asked. So every time you are teaching, for instance, I'm absolutely sure that the people that are here in this meeting, next time they have to teach phrasal verbs, or there are phrasal verbs in in their classes, maybe they will remember that Georgina had that blog post and they can share with students. Yeah, this is it. So another blog post that is amazing, and well, there are dozens actually here. This one by Bev, yeah, Bev wrote this yesterday. Richard Branson, very inspiring, yeah, maybe for high-level students this time. But maybe next time that this or similar topic comes into your classes, you guys can send that to your learners. What I mean, my example last week was, but it doesn't have to be this, but I made an attempt to create a system around the song. That's what I did. Yeah, and I did it for low levels. And yes, I know that the resources are limitless out there. But what I want is our learners, you guys, to be able to use something of your liking with the standards that you would be proud of, that we create together and that we can use. Okay. Then Steve told me that some people, when they open that, read that in English, but it's an automatic translation, and it's so messed up. And no, but I wrote it in Spanish actually. Yeah, for Spanish learners. Okay. So these are the things that we can decide to do together. And this is, for instance, if I were to make a system out of it, I would probably make it or categorize blogs around, for instance, blogs including videos, short videos, longer talks, maybe songs, and of course for the different levels. This is one thing that I would do. Maybe you have more ideas. Olga has raised her hand. Olga, go for it.
Yeah, Radmila, first of all, apologies guys for the background noise. I'm in the middle of a square, couldn't make it home in time. Just wanted to ask quickly about the practicality of this. I have something similar in mind also, like sending, for instance, I teach kids at the weekends, sending them a post about some songs they can listen to also, you know, just like what Georgina did, teaching one aspect of the English language and so on. But what do you recommend? Sending it in the email, or attaching it to one of the lessons, or sending it in the chat box? Which one would be more useful?
Whatever, whatever's more convenient for the context. Now, I would again, of course, you have to take any chance to communicate something. If you can send, for instance, in the moment, if you can send your learners something, for instance, taken from these blogs, then amazing. Now, there is another thing that you can do, which is program it, plan it, because of course you will take any chance to do it if in class the topic is appropriate and it's, you know, it's kind of associated with it. But why not scheduling it? Why not you deciding and you saying, okay, I'm going to take the reins of not only of the 10% what happens in class, but of the 90%. And I think that this is something that you would enjoy. I think that this, knowing you would enjoy, for instance, reading about Richard Branson or about anyone, yeah, about whatever, or about the phrasal verbs. Yeah, there are people that love that. So I'm going to give you Georgina's blog post. Hey, it's amazing. Focus on that. Check these videos because they put, you know, they provide a beautiful context for these phrasal verbs, which are explained here. It will stick because it's in songs, right, Georgina? It's in songs. It will stick. Yes. So these are the things that you can do. You can use your WhatsApp.
You mean integrated into the lesson?
You can one, integrate it in the lesson. Two, outside the lesson. You know, whatever you do in the lesson is in the lesson. 10%. Outside the lesson.
Yeah, I was thinking of like maybe sending as an attachment for further study if they're interested, something like that.
You can do that, and you can also use your WhatsApp to send these blog posts to people. Yes, you can do it as an attachment, you say. Yeah, as a link. I would say as a link. A link to the blog, right? Is this what you mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
But I was thinking of, you know, students that, what if we don't have their contact details? You know,
Okay.
after the classes and so on.
Yeah, okay. So those that you don't have the contact details, then you can send it the link in the email, in the, how do you call that, report email at the end of the class.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, you know, maybe in the general appraisals part for suggested reading or study or practice, something like that.
That's it. You can do that. Of course you can. So basically, if you know your students and if you know what your partners write here and how you can use that, then you will start making very easy associations. I'm teaching this target. Hey, here is this song. Yeah. So I'm helping the learner, and I'm also I'm granting a very easy way of them sharing in return. If they like it, what will they do? They will share it. They will recommend you. They will share it with the tools that you send them. Yeah. So Jazz, for you, for instance, you are teaching very low level students.
Yeah.
How can we somehow help them, not only in class but after class, creating such content?
I think my challenge is I'm teaching not only non-English speakers, they're not cultural, you know, they're Vietnamese, Asian clients, and you're challenging with the culture and the character. Because, for example, the lesson I had last week, you know, you normally sometimes discuss topics with the Spanish students. What do you think? And for example, with Asian, especially Vietnamese, you never ask their opinion. It's just not done. And, you know, I'm facing other sort of challenges where I have to adapt quite a bit to what I say and how I say it and the sensitivity as well. So that's one challenge, which I'm getting around to. I have to sometimes adapt some of the questions and really choose the topic very carefully, because you don't talk about, you know, politics and war and whatever for Vietnamese clients, and they're very shy as well. So not only is there a language barrier, but it's the shyness. So but very, very low. I think I'm thinking about this a lot more, probably videos and image and visual sort of content for them.
I think
very,
that
very different to teaching when I'm teaching the Spanish students and I've got to switch, you know, once a week. It's great kind of getting this contract for the Vietnamese hotels, but I really have to switch how I teach them and what I say. It's just that they're very different people. They're very shy, they don't interact, and they're not used to people asking opinions. And also, you know, talking about royalty, even for my Thai clients, you never ever talk about royalty. You probably get sent to prison. You know, it's just things I have to adapt. And also, you know, I can't say, hey guys, can you watch Netflix? Because they don't have Netflix. You know, it's banned, even social media. And even books, for example, they can't afford to get books. And when I tried to do the trial class the other day, Maria was saying that, you know, they don't have the luxury of having a laptop by themselves. So you have to share. But they're so hungry to learn a language. They're so enthusiastic. And for me to say, go and watch Netflix is something which they don't have. They can't even afford it. So these are different challenges, but it's a learning curve for me, really.
I think it's a unique chance that you have, because if we all the more reason, if we cannot say go watch Netflix, let's help them with things that we have at our reach. Let's create that content for them. So if you were to create everything that they need for after class practices, you would die. It would be absolutely impossible unless we take the collaborative approach of understanding that there are more teachers that are in your position. I'm sure that they are. And if not now, there will be, because we're going global.
I think this is what I was thinking. We're going to go international, which I like to be part of that, because most of my contacts are in Asia. And it's a big gold mine out there, you know, with the hotels in Cambodia and Bangkok. And they're very, very desperate. They will always welcome, English lessons, and they really would like to learn. I can't even send books to my clients in Vietnam. They get confiscated. So it's just, I think videos and just trying to think what else they can listen to. So anyone else who's taught anyone else, in the community,
Akbar is raising his hand.
Hey, Akbar, yeah.
Yes. No, I was really captivated with your story because I spent not too long ago a Christmas in Vietnam, and
great.
I was just trying to push my brain to help you with possibilities. The first question was, your students are in Vietnam, are they?
Yes, they are, yeah. They're actually a hotel group, and I've got the IT manager, the front office reception manager, and then I teach the food and beverage manager. So,
Okay.
it's vocabulary about the kitchen and utensils. And Maria's been so helpful with creating content for hotel industry, and that's my niche. When I joined Oxinity, I shared with Red Miller that I'm going to go for that market because I know the travel market, and I do put my hand up, being very, very naughty, a bit lazy, not writing a blog about travel. But I think it's just, learning. And for example, there was a drill the other day about the G or the giraffe, and they don't have giraffes in Vietnam. I thought, oh God, what am I talking about? And this week it was a cheetah, the ch pronunciation. And I just said, oh, have you cheetah? They looked at me. I said, oh, cheetah is an animal. I couldn't say, have you seen a cheetah? So, it's really adapting. And if we are going to go international, which hopefully we will with Oxinity, we will have to think about that for the future.
So my idea in terms of content for people in wherever in the world, maybe as teachers, we should encourage them to go on these tour guides where the tour guides themselves should have a good level of English. And maybe they could hang back in their respective cities and keep their ears open to the way that tour guide is explaining their country's history. Because I noticed in Vietnam, you're absolutely right. They had zero English. It was very difficult.
Yeah.
I met English teachers there, and they said it's an amazing country. People are very nice, but they are shy. They're a bit hard to make a connection.
Yeah.
So the best speakers I saw were the tour guides, and they had so much energy, and their English was actually really good. So maybe for the people there, that would be my advice, to try and find some tourists and follow and listen, keep the ears open. This again would be war museums. I remember that was the darkest part of the holiday, but
it is,
something like this, it depends.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a lot of coffee shops too in Vietnam. My favorite coffee in the world is Vietnamese coffee, and maybe those people behind the counter can also provide the terminology for milk, for skimmed milk, stuff like this, and I do it with my students here too. I try and tell them, try and speak to someone who you think knows a decent level of English, and come back to me with a story. Like just the shopkeeper. I know you can buy your chewing gum in Spanish, but try buying it in English for once, and tell me how did that experience go? Because it's important that they use what we teach them tonight in the outdoors. Yeah.
No, thank you for that. I think it's just adapting the vocabulary for hotel staff, for the front office manager. What does it need to know? Like check-in and reception and front office, they're very different terminology. And like the other day, the lift, they use elevator, and they've never heard the word lift. So it's just getting them to, it's actually the contents, the material, which is not always suitable for my Vietnamese clients, but it is for the other clients. So.
Fine. So whatever is not in the classes can be outside the classes in a blog.
Exactly.
Yeah. And again, once we kind of figure out a suitable format, even a blog can become something that is, very straightforward. Very straightforward. So following some easy principles that everyone will identify as something familiar, it will start being familiar and very useful for your target, for your niche. But also, I'm absolutely certain that next time you're teaching someone, any of you, from a similar profession, you know, similar sector, or the same sector, then you will remember that there was that blog post. Why not me sharing that? Yeah, so again, it's something that we're helping the student, we're helping us as well. Why not? Yeah, why not? So, of course, I will encourage you to think that way, because every time we are recommending, we have to ask ourselves the question, who are we helping? Of course, the student. Are we, though, helping ourselves as well? Or we're helping someone else, the person or the institution that has provided the resources? Why do you think, guys, people create resources? Eventually to communicate. So this community is also communicating. And whenever we decide how we want to communicate, if the message is, if people, you know, if we get it right, then that we will get loyalty. A lot of your loyalty. People will follow us. We're not there yet. We can be. We're very near there. Yeah. So little by little, we're going to start. I see now patterns in you when you write. I see patterns. So all we need to do is consolidate that, talk openly of what works and what doesn't, so that every single one of you is kind of certain of what's the right, you know, the best approach, not the right, but the best approach for a certain type of audience. Yeah, so Charles and Steve have raised their hand. So Charles, you go first, and then Steve.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, Charles. Hi.
First, I want to thank Radmila and Mara for going out of their ways to help me solve a problem with the client. So thank you very much for doing that. The two of you went above and beyond, so I really appreciate that. Listening to some of the conversation today, I like what Akbar said about getting students to use their English, because I know that's how I learned Spanish. I learned Spanish like of my students here in school, and when I read, I didn't speak Spanish, so you really got to use it. I'm going to take a look at our blog, because normally in the report email, what I do during class, not only do I put vocabulary there, but I find links to interesting stories, and I put the links there so that the students can do some reading on their own. But if we have a blog that covers a similar topic, perfect, and promote the group, that sounds like a fantastic idea, so I will get to know the blogs a little bit better.
Charles, sorry to cut you, but at least I hear you a little bit robotic. I struggle a little bit to understand.
Sorry. You know, but maybe let Steve talk and let me look at my routes. Maybe I have a small problem. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. I'm not certain whether we will understand it right. That's the only thing.
Okay, let me see if the headphones work. Is that any better?
Say something.
Yeah, hello. Is that any better, or do you still hear me?
A bit robotic.
A bit. You know, a student told me that earlier today, a private student of mine. Well, let me not waste everybody's time. Thank you, Maria, again, and I'm gonna.
If you want to write it. I will read it. You write it, and I will read it, Charles.
Perfect.
Yeah? I will read it. Okay. How about you, Steve?
Yeah, I was also having problems understanding Charles. I might be repeating what he said, but it seems to me you've got content developers, you know, people who are doing course materials, and you've got people doing blog materials. But of course, what we're talking about here is this interface, or integrating the two. I mean, on occasions, I've done some course materials, and then I've shared it almost as a post on LinkedIn, as a flavor of what we do on Oxinity. So it seems to me that, you know, we could, you know, when we're developing those content, maybe you could also think, how could this work as a blog? You know, so basically you two things at once.
Absolutely.
And you've also mentioned there, okay, so we're trying to signpost all our learners to extension and enrichment. So which blogs might be relevant? But I mean, if everyone can get into the habit of doing that and then posting the links they've found in the notes section of the content. Yeah, so we don't have to keep going through it every time. So
exactly.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. So that's great because fantastic idea. Absolutely. Sometimes I know when some of you guys say, Mark, who is here, Mark, when he writes topics, there is so much he wants to say. I have the feeling that sometimes it's hard for him to cut the content and say, well, okay, I'm going to leave it
Always
here.
had that problem, actually.
But
it's interesting what Steve is saying, because often with when I give the emails after the class, I usually try and find a video or a link afterwards to send, and sometimes that takes a time to try and find something. So if it was there, that would really help. If there was something we could send, some extra thing, we could just cut and paste it. That would save a lot of time with the email afterwards. Because normally you can find relevant things related to the topics or even the grammar that's dealt with in the class. So I usually like to send that, apart from the students in one company where they can't see the videos, they can't watch any videos because I think they've got a block on it on their company computers.
But they could still cut and paste it into a different email or something, couldn't they, and watch it at home or wherever else?
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea. And Charles, Steve, it's brilliant. Yeah, so we're definitely will remember it, guys, because this is a little piece of future what Steve has just shared here. Yeah. So Charles is saying, I normally add links to articles and videos in the report email. I will look through our blogs so that I can share them as well. So what we say here is, whenever you have the feeling to develop further a topic or something that has inspired you and there was not enough time, let's do it. Just continue in a blog, but in a blog that will again take them to add the value, the learning value, and keep people focused on eventually our environment, the Oxinity environment. So it's a great idea. Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Charles. And Mark, this is the right one for you. It fits you like a glove. Akbar?
Yeah, I just want to add, since I started with Oxinity, I mentioned this to you, Radmila, that I love riddles, and I think it's a great practice for the students to get their thinking in that language. I can always try and create a blog with all the riddles I've been saving up over 2 years.
There.
I have like 5 documents on my desktop that I always include at the end of the email, and my students love it, which is why I'm saying it, because it's the first thing they mention at the start of the class. Oh, what was the answer to this riddle? I've been thinking about it for a week. You've been thinking about it for a week. My job is done, that you're thinking in English. And yeah, they're fun riddles. Most of them are very popular ones in English culture. So I will try and create a blog before the next meeting, so you can all have access to my awesome riddles. Yeah.
That's it. I love it because you love it. This is it. Enough with assignments that no one really enjoys. Enough. Do what you enjoy doing. They will enjoy as well. Come on. Do
Pure
the real
fun.
thing. Georgina.
No, nothing. I'm sorry. What did Steve say? Make a list of what and where?
Steve, what did you say? A list of what and where?
It was just building on this. Yeah, I was just building on this idea. If you're looking at some specific course materials, you've got that notes section there, haven't you? So most of us finish and then we try to do an email and some additional ideas. But it seems to me, okay, why don't we do? Everyone's saying, okay, Ramila's saying we can do this in house. So why don't we kind of also refer to our blogs? But if rather than just repeating the process, if you're doing something, say on phrasal verbs, and you've gone onto the blogs and you've seen 2 or 3 articles that people have already produced, just cut and paste those links into the notes section, along with any other good ideas for extensions. The notes section on the course materials. Mm-hmm. So when another teacher goes into those course materials, they will have the blogs already. Somebody's already found them, and then
so that we create a new attachment and we just paste there the link. You mean?
Yeah, well, the notes section under the materials when you have the questions and
the bottom.
you have the
Okay.
you have the wrap-up questions, and then there's that section that just says notes, isn't there? Yeah. Okay, so I was suggesting just simply paste the links into those notes, and then when it comes to your end email, you can just paste them again into your end email. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and that list will obviously keep building, and people probably add their ideas. Yeah, and it could be, you know, it could be the in-house stuff and also the external stuff, what everyone's suggested. Yeah. Okay.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Now, in this moment, I'm thinking that having reached that conclusion, for instance, now is when we can help. Because if you want to go for a list and for something organized, maybe we can help. Yes, from the IT team, maybe they can help so that that is faster, better organized, etc. Yeah. So Steve just suggests something that will work. You guys can do it with the tools that we have. Now a step further, the IT team creating something that will make it easier. Yeah, so now it makes sense. Okay, we're going to do it for next week.
It's kind of standard practice, isn't it? People have been mentioning that 6-minute English BBC. They always have a link at the bottom to an additional interview or something like that, doesn't it? So extension stuff, yeah. So maybe the notes section is not big enough for how, as you say, that could develop into. But yeah, it sounds like a start, doesn't it?
Yeah, we definitely have to have our equivalent of this idea, the British Council's idea, yeah, but our idea. That's it. We need it. We need it where you will find it easy to share. Love it. I love it. I love it. Great. Okay. Any other question or suggestion, guys, from you? No? All good? All clear? Yes? So just as a wrap up, again, going back to the essential idea, work on quality. Quality is 10%. What you are transmitting or what you are aiming in this 10% is the student to practice, the student to perform. You correct, you guide, the student performs. And now we take a step further. Now we take care of the 90% that the student will do on their own, but that we can have impact on with our suggestions, with Akbar's riddles, yeah, with Steve's ideas. These are the things that we have to do. We will. And what we achieve is we are telling people, we're leading people towards learning and hopefully impacting on our own growth that way. Yeah, this is being Oxinity. So forget about being freelancers, just be Oxinity. This is how the Oxinity community thinks that way. Yeah, collaboratively. This is going to help you a big deal. It has started. Now this meeting is way better than last one. It was just crazy ideas. Now we have focused. Now I can go to the IT team and tell them this is what we need. Can you guys help? Yeah. And I hope that next week we have something consistent. So amazing. I'm very happy. I hope you enjoyed the meeting. I have. Okay, guys, so have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you hopefully next week.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Take care, everyone. Have a nice long weekend there in Madrid.
Yeah. Have a great week.